Have you ever wondered how your phone knows exactly what you're saying when you talk to it? Or how Netflix somehow always knows which movies you might want to watch next? If you've ever been curious about these everyday mysteries, then you've stumbled into the fascinating world of artificial intelligence. And today, we're going to break it all down in a way that makes perfect sense, no matter how old you are. I'm going to be completely honest with you. When I was 11, the most advanced technology in my house was a microwave that could reheat pizza in under 2 minutes. Fast forward to today, and we're living in a world where computers can write poems, create artwork, and even beat professional chess players without breaking a digital sweat. It's pretty wild when you think about it. But here's the thing that most people don't realize about artificial intelligence. It's not actually as complicated or scary as everyone makes it out to be. In fact, once you understand the basic idea behind it, you'll start seeing it everywhere in your daily life. And trust me, it's way more interesting than intimidating. So what exactly is artificial intelligence? Let's start with something you already understand perfectly. Think about how you learned to ride a bicycle. At first, you probably wobbled all over the place, maybe crashed into a few bushes, and definitely needed training wheels. But eventually, through lots of practice and maybe a few scraped knees, you figured it out. Your brain learned to balance, steer, and pedal all at the same time without you having to think about each individual action. Artificial intelligence works in a surprisingly similar way. Just like your brain learned to ride a bike through practice, computers can learn to do things through practice too. The main difference is that instead of learning from scraped knees and wobbly rides, computers learn from data and examples. Imagine you wanted to teach a computer to recognize different types of dogs. You might show it thousands and thousands of pictures of golden retrievers, bulldogs, poodles, and every other breed you can think of. Each time you show it a picture, you tell the computer what type of dog it's looking at. After seeing enough examples, something pretty amazing happens. The computer starts to notice patterns. It figures out that golden retrievers usually have long, fluffy hair and friendly expressions. It learns that bulldogs have wrinkled faces and stocky bodies. Eventually, if you show it a picture of a dog it has never seen before, it can make a pretty good guess about what breed it might be. This process of showing the computer lots of examples so it can learn patterns is called training. And here's where it gets really interesting. The computer isn't just memorizing every single picture you showed it. Instead, it's developing its own internal understanding of what makes each type of dog unique. It's creating its own set of rules based on all those examples. Now, you might be thinking that this sounds pretty impressive, but also pretty limited. And you'd be absolutely right. The computer we just talked about can only identify dog breeds. If you suddenly asked it to identify different types of cars or classify music genres, it would be completely lost. This is because most artificial intelligence today is what we call narrow intelligence. It's really good at one specific thing, but it can't do much beyond that task. This is actually a crucial point that many people miss when they think about artificial intelligence. The AI systems we interact with every day are incredibly specialized. The artificial intelligence that recommends videos on social media platforms is completely different from the AI that helps doctors analyze medical scans. They each had to be trained separately for their specific jobs, kind of like how a professional basketball player and a professional chef both have incredible skills, but in totally different areas. Understanding this helps explain why we're not anywhere close to having robots that can do everything humans can do. Building an artificial intelligence system that can learn to ride a bike, write a poem, solve math problems, and cook dinner all at the same time is incredibly difficult. In fact, it's so challenging that many experts aren't even sure if it's possible with our current technology. But even though today's artificial intelligence is limited to specific tasks, it's still pretty remarkable what these systems can accomplish within their specialized areas. Some can translate between different languages almost instantly. Others can analyze patterns in weather data to help predict storms. There are AI systems that can compose music, play video games at superhuman levels, and even help scientists discover new medicines. The really cool part is understanding how these AI systems actually make their decisions. Remember when you were learning math and your teacher would show you how to solve different types of problems step by step? Eventually, you didn't need to think through every single step anymore because you had practiced so much that it became automatic. That's basically what happens inside an artificial intelligence system, except instead of math steps, it's working with something called algorithms. Think of an algorithm as a recipe that the computer follows. But unlike your grandma's cookie recipe that always produces the same chocolate chip cookies, AFYI, algorithms can adapt and change based on what they encounter. It's more like having a chef who can taste the soup and automatically adjust the seasoning without following a rigid recipe. Here's where it gets even more fascinating. When you ask your phone a question, it doesn't just look up the answer in some giant digital encyclopedia. Instead, it processes your words, figures out what you're really asking, searches through massive amounts of information, and then generates a response that hopefully makes sense. All of this happens in less time than it takes you to blink. But how does it actually work behind the scenes? Let's imagine your brain as a network of roads connecting different cities. When you think about your favorite pizza topping, information travels along specific roads to reach the right destination. Artificial intelligence works with something similar called neural networks, which are loosely inspired by how our brains process information. These networks have thousands or even millions of connections that can strengthen or weaken based on the information they process. During the training process we talked about earlier, these connections are constantly adjusting. When the AI gets something right, certain connections become stronger. When it makes a mistake, other connections might weaken. Over time, through processing millions of examples, the network develops its own way of understanding and responding to different situations. Now, you might be wondering why some AI systems seem so smart while others make obvious mistakes. This brings us to one of the most important things to understand about artificial intelligence today. These systems are only as good as the information they learn from. If you tried to learn about the world by only reading comic books, you might have a pretty skewed understanding of how physics actually works. Similarly, if an AI system is trained on biased or incomplete information, it will reflect those same limitations in its responses. This is why the people who build AI systems spend so much time thinking about what data to use for training. They need massive amounts of high-quality examples that represent the real world as accurately as possible. For a system that's supposed to understand natural language, this might mean processing billions of sentences from books, websites, and conversations. For a system designed to recognize images, it might need millions of photos taken in different lighting conditions, from various angles, and featuring diverse subjects. One thing that often surprises people is how much computing power these systems require. Training a sophisticated AI model can take weeks or even months, using computers that are thousands of times more powerful than the laptop you might use for homework. These specialized computers work around the clock, processing example after example, slowly building up the AI system's ability to handle its assigned task. But once the training is complete, something pretty amazing happens. The AI system can often perform its task much faster than humans ever could. A system trained to analyze medical images might be able to examine hundreds of scans in the time it would take a human doctor to carefully review just one. This doesn't mean the AI is replacing doctors, but rather helping them work more efficiently and catch things they might have missed. This efficiency is part of what makes artificial intelligence so valuable in today's world. We generate enormous amounts of information every single day through our phones, computers, and countless connected devices. Without AI systems helping to organize, analyze, and make sense of all this data, we'd be completely overwhelmed. So there you have it. Artificial intelligence isn't some mysterious magic trick or scary robot from a movie. It's basically a computer that learned how to do specific tasks really well by practicing with tons of examples, just like you learn to ride a bike or play your favorite video game. The AI in your phone that understands what you're saying, the system that suggests what to watch next, and even the programs that help doctors save lives are all just computers that got really good at their one special job through lots and lots of practice. The coolest part is that we're still in the early days of this technology. The AI systems we have today are like the first computers from decades ago, big and clunky and only able to do a few things. But just like those early computers eventually became the smartphones in our pockets, artificial intelligence will probably become even more helpful and impressive in ways we can't even imagine yet. Remember, you don't need to be intimidated by AI or worry that you need a computer science degree to understand it. You're already living with it every day, and now you know the basic secret behind how it all works. The next time someone starts talking about artificial intelligence like it's some incomprehensible mystery, you can be the person who explains it to them like they're 11 too. Thank you for watching, and if you found this useful, please like, subscribe, and comment what you'd like to learn about next time.